Few names evoke as much fascination and fear as that of Francisco de Goya. Known for his haunting black paintings, Goya left us a legacy of works that seem to emerge from the darkest nightmares. These famous black paintings, created on the walls of his own house, reflect a world of nightmares and inner demons. However, there is one work that surpasses even those terrifying creations, a painting so eerie that few know of its existence. This is the story of Ghostly Vision. Painted in the last years of his life, Ghostly Vision remained unfinished, abandoned for reasons shrouded in mystery. Most intriguing is that this work remained hidden for nearly a century, discovered 90 years after its creation. The painting depicts a giant figure with horns, an image that has perplexed many. But why did Goya create such terrifying paintings? What is the meaning behind this work? In this video, we will try to uncover what Goya intended to paint on this canvas that remained undiscovered for so many years, and which, since its discovery, has generated many unanswered questions. Let's begin. In 2018, an unexpected discovery surprised the art world, a painting by Francisco de Goya, lost for 90 years. The work, known as Ghostly Vision, resurfaced in Zaragoza, Spain, thanks to a donation made to the Museo de Zaragoza by an anonymous family. Ghostly Vision is an enigmatic and disturbing work that was left unfinished for reasons shrouded in mystery. It was created between 1797 and 1801, during a period when Goya intensified his production of fantastic themes following a severe illness that left him deaf and marked a turning point in his life and work. This traumatic event led him to a state of deep introspection, reflected in the darkness and drama of his subsequent works. Ghostly Vision is a clear example of this transformation in his art. According to experts, the painting was created without prior drawing and without corrections, indicating that Goya worked with extreme speed, probably to capture a vision that had appeared in a dream or was suggested by some reading. Around this time, Goya was living in a complicated situation due to the Peninsular War in Spain. In 1819, Goya sought to escape from Madrid and acquired a small house on the outskirts of the city. This house, known at the time as La Quinta del Sordo, which in English translates to the deaf man's villa. This house became an essential place for Goya's painting, as it was there that he created the famous black paintings between 1820 and 1823, decorating the lower living room and dining room. The black paintings represent a stark contrast to his earlier works. Goya spent the first part of his career painting portraits of the Spanish aristocracy and became a court painter to the Spanish crown in 1786. Then, at the age of 46, a nearly fatal illness left him completely deaf and dimmed his vision. The loss of his hearing and vision drove Goya to explore new artistic dimensions, and after 1792, his work became progressively darker and more pessimistic. In 1814, Goya completed paintings such as the 2nd of May 1808 and the 3rd of May 1808, which depict the horrors of war. He also explored themes of madness, mental asylums, and religious and political corruption in his work, demonstrating a growing concern for the well-being of not only Spain, but also his own mental and physical health. Goya retreated to the Quinta del Sordo on the outskirts of Madrid in 1819 at around 75 years old, where he lived in near total isolation while working on the black paintings. Several theories have been proposed as to why Goya painted the black paintings during the last years of his life. One theory is that the deaf painter, alone in his house, painted the supernatural images as companions, reflecting his grim view of humanity amid the ravages of his illness. However, deafness alone cannot explain his change in style. Goya was also motivated by frustration with the horrors of war and created the black paintings as a darker extension of his earlier works on this theme. Nonetheless, even if the psychological madness of war drove Goya to create such horrific paintings, surely his physical deafness also played a role in inspiring these terrifying images. This means that not only his deafness or the traumas left by the war were the sole reasons that led him to paint these images on the walls of his house. Perhaps the fact that he was ill, traumatized, and living alone on the outskirts of the city contributed equally to his fascination with the macabre in his later years. Among these paintings, some stand out, such as a Saturn devouring his son, which is considered by some to be one of the most terrifying works in the history of art. In it, Saturn, the god of time, appears to be devouring people, but it could also represent the French devouring the Spanish people as a vision of the war. Witches' Sabbath, the pilgrimage of San Isidro, two old ones eating soup. All these paintings are part of this collection of macabre works that Goya painted in the darkness of his home. But in this video, we will not delve deeply into these paintings. They are mentioned only to help us understand the period Goya was going through when he painted this mysterious work. Before we continue, I want to remind you that on our website, you have a selection of historical paintings available for your home. In the catalogue, you will find over 300 paintings that I have personally selected. You can purchase your favorite painting as an art print, a canvas, or even a phone case. Shipping is completely free worldwide, and I can assure you that the quality is the best on the market. As an art enthusiast, I have personally ensured that you receive a piece as faithful as possible to the original work. Thank you to everyone who has made purchases in the last few days. I invite you to visit the catalogue once you finish watching the video and place your order. You will find a link to the store in the description of this video. Let's continue. In 2016, art historian Arturo Anson made the extraordinary discovery of a painting by Francisco de Goya that had been lost for 90 years. This finding was only presented to the press in 2018, once it was confirmed that the painting indeed belonged to Goya. Ghostly Vision, along with two sketches by other artists, was donated to the Museo de Zaragoza by a family that wished to remain anonymous, enriching the museum's collection. This painting stands out as a unique and invaluable piece in Goya's oeuvre. Unlike his other works, this painting was not a finished piece, but a sketch that Goya had gifted to an entrepreneur and friend of his time. Although the painting is presumed to have been created around 1801, its only public appearance was through a black and white photograph taken by photographer Juan Mora and published in 1928 in a monographic issue dedicated to Goya by Aragon magazine, commemorating the centenary of the artist's death. The canvas later became part of the collection of the Counts of Gabarda and was kept in their palace in Zaragoza. Ghostly Vision is a work that, from the very first moment, evokes a sense of unease and fear. The central figure of the painting is undoubtedly the focal point of the piece. This colossal and ghostly entity dominates the canvas with its imposing presence. Its face, although vaguely defined, shows eyes, a nose, and a mouth that are barely visible, adding to its eerie appearance. Two long horns emerge from its head, giving it a demonic and supernatural look. Additionally, it seems as though this being is draped in a long cloak that appears to fade into the darkness. As Anson, who thoroughly studied this painting, stated, Goya's quick and loose brushstrokes suggest that this image emerged with urgency, perhaps in a desperate attempt to capture a vision that was haunting him. To the left of this central figure, there is a smaller figure that appears to be another person, seemingly an attendant to the monstrous figure, perhaps an embodiment of death or a harbinger of doom. This smaller figure adds a layer of complexity to the scene, making it seem like the central entity is not alone in its supernatural domain. In the lower part of the painting, a crowd of people is seen moving away from the giant figure. These small human figures seem to be fleeing in terror, captured in the midst of their escape. The quick and scattered brushstrokes with which Goya represents them add a sense of panic and chaos. It is as if they are desperately trying to escape from a nightmare that has materialized before them. To be honest with you all, this painting strikes me as one of Goya's most personal works. As we've seen throughout this video, in his later years, After illness entered his life, his paintings took on a much more personal and dark focus due to his traumas from war. Perhaps this painting was a representation of those images that came to him when he closed his eyes, and from there, the name he wanted to give this painting was born. Maybe this was his way of depicting death, war, or his own illness. What is clear is that this painting was not intended to be studied. It's very possible that he himself wouldn't have wanted us to be looking at this painting today. Thank you very much for staying to watch until the end. I'd love to read your thoughts on this painting and hear your interpretation. Don't forget to leave a like if you found it interesting, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Don't forget to visit inspiraggio.com to buy your favorite painting and support the channel. You'll also find my social media links in the description of this video where you can see more art related content. See you in the next video. Bye.